notice the most is what we talk about when you walk through our clubhouse door. You have to check your ego at the door.
Wow.
And when you ran into JC, you had no ego. See, the problem with men is our egos are usually too big, and we don't want to back down from anything. But to me, that's not being a man. When you're able to check your ego at the door and say, hey, and not let it escalate, that's being a man. Because that takes extreme discipline, and it shows a true humility, which is tough for men to do. I mean, that was a great example because he checked his ego at the door.
That was beautiful, yes.
And that's what we talk about as a team, because you know what? I mean, Milky can tell you, we have 5 outfielders that want to play every day. And it's tough because, you know, Milky will play 8 out of 10 days, but he wants to play 10 out of 10. And that day that he's not playing, he has to have the same attitude and cheer for the other guys and check his ego at the door. Everyone wants to close out a game. Everyone wants to be Mariano Rivera, but not everyone can do it. And that's important when you walk out on these streets, or you're walking into school, or even in your home. You got to check your ego at the door and not let it get in the way, because that's what gets us in trouble.
Wow. Thank you.
Yep.
I want to also say, you know, first, how thankful we are to have you guys open. Not just because you're the New York Yankees, but because of the fact that you've accomplished great things and you've taken some time out to come over here. And I can tell, I've been working with these kids for 4 years. Some of them who I've just met a couple months ago, and it's just my gratitude is that I can't express how humble I am and how happy I am to have you guys over. But I do want to take a second and really introduce you guys to someone who's here, but in the back, if it's okay, Jason, if it's okay, this is Jason Zillow, and he's the guy that
Michael.
Yes.
Can I ask something?
Yes,
I'm
please.
going to ask a question for the guys.
Okay.
Who's the oldest here? They've been here the longest.
Been here the longest?
Yes.
Jonathan was the first person?
Jonathan was the first person.
Yes.
Okay, my question is to Jonathan then.
Okay.
Jonathan, how you feel, what do you think Marco has done for you?
Me?
Yes, so for you.
Marco, he's done great things for me. He's changed who I am, and he's like he made me become the great young leader I am now. And I'm very grateful to have Marco because I see him as a father, the father that I never had.
All right, so and then for that, you're gonna do the same thing that Marco is doing
With the younger generation.
Very good. That's
Folks, if I could just talk for a brief moment. There's a couple of things that I think need to be known on background to all you kids, young adults, I should say. Obviously, you guys recognize the people in front of you. The manager, the baseball players, these guys are known throughout our community. It's important that you guys and ladies realize that this is a organizational effort, that people all the way up from the Steinbrenner family who own the team. Jenny Steinbrenner, if you could just please come in, it's important.
Come in, Jenny.
You know, Jenny, people like Jenny and Steinbrenner family and Randy Levine and Lon Trost, when we came to them with this idea, they didn't blink. It wasn't, you know, when we talked about Hope Week, about going out and finding people like yourselves to give back to you guys in some way, whether it's emotional, just support of you guys, it's important that you understand the process of the organization. In front of you, you see 4 people that you see every day. But there were literally over 100 people from the Yankees who made this happen. We didn't just drop in out of the sky and show up here. There was, as Marco and Jennifer can certainly talk about, I mean, we spent days and weeks and hours and trying to coordinate this so that we can make this day special for you. Although the key to Hope Week, and it's important, it's not about giving financially, because not everybody has that resource. But everyone has time and the effort inside themselves to give. You know, Mariano and Joe and myself are the same as anybody else on the street, which is you have 24 hours in a day. You have 7 days in a week. You have 365 days in a year. That's the same for everybody that I know. Unless somebody knows somebody else that's from a different planet, that's basically what we're working with. So the idea and the premise behind Hope Week is, again, giving of yourselves and giving of your time. Because, like I said, everybody has that. It doesn't matter your occupation, your demographic, your religion, all of those things are the same. And I think it's important, that we stress that. And I know, I feel very satisfied that we're here today, but I want you guys also to know how much work it took other people that weren't lucky enough to be in this room to share in this experience. People from the mailroom all the way to ownership took part in making this thing happen. We have, again, it's not about material gifts, but one of the things, in conversations that we had was this started on a playground, basically, right? And it was the tossing of a football. Is that right?
With Jonathan.
I know, that's why I'm looking at Jonathan. And one of the things in the conversations, and Jen, Marco didn't even know this, but when they said this to me, they were like, we don't really have much. We have a deflated basketball. That football now is barely, it doesn't have any strings on it.
Do we have it?
Yo, we have it.
We don't have it all.
They were, Joe would love to hear this story. They were talking about when you guys have some type of baseball activities, right. The catcher has to cut something out of a cardboard box as a protector.
I love it.
Mo used that as a glove.
I know about that.
Mo used that as a glove growing up.
Oh, yes.
So, for instance, these footballs and the soccer balls and the gloves that hopefully will be put to good use, they come from Modell's. Our sponsorship department said to Modell's, this is the initiative we're doing. Will you guys lend a hand? And you know what? They said, absolutely. What do you need? We have a member of White Rose. Is somebody back there? Mm-hmm. Another thing which I think all of us can relate to, I know Joe and I as Italians, some of my fondest memories growing up were sitting around the kitchen table with my friends and family and having a big Italian dinner. We grew together as family, and I know I grew with friends over food. Something everybody enjoyed. We called, and we know that Marco and Jen over the years have opened up their doors to all of you, I think, and said, come share a meal with us. Get off the street, come and share a meal with us, and we can spend time getting to know each other and kind of fostering a relationship. Well, to us, it's like, let's help them out. What can we do? White Rose is here, one of our sponsors, and they have a whole bunch of gift certificates so that, next time you guys want to have a big family function, you guys can all go shopping together, and it's courtesy of White Rose.
All right.
I know that you guys would much rather talk to Joe and the players, but again, I think there's a couple of messages that we want to share with you that, we want this to become a movement. We didn't want to do a week, Hope Week, which it's called, and by the way, all you guys are going to get nice t-shirts. I can't wait to see them at the game tonight. The deal is, though, the only way you come to the game is to wear the t-shirt. Right? But just one last thing. When we thought about doing this, and we started this in spring training, where the idea started, it kind of grew, a lot of people got behind it, and it became a reality. But one thing we didn't want to do is we didn't want it to be a week, and then everybody said, that was really nice what the Yankees did, and let's go back to the way we were. The idea is we want this to grow. Whether it's other Major League Baseball teams or other organizations that have nothing to do with athletics, everybody can put something like this together. Now, I understand we're the Yankees, don't get me wrong. And you know what, and it's great, and I'll tell you what, guys, to be honest with you, and I do PR work, and it's important that you guys know this, because we talk about, we do a lot of stuff that obviously we don't publicize, because we shouldn't. We should do it because we want to do it, not for any other reason. For this week, whatever we do, people know about it. Whether we wanted to or not. Sometimes it's bad and we wish it wasn't out there, but guess what? We're in New York, it's the media capital of the world. We got to just deal with it. But the flip side of that is having a platform like this, where people in the media come here and they cover this and they spread these wonderful stories. And I know that if I'm watching one of these stories and I don't know anything about it, if I'm sitting at home at dinner and I said, wow, maybe I can do something. And the